name is Francine Manilow, and I've been a resident of Dupage County for the last 26 years. Elected officials, sometimes after a while, have a tendency to forget that they were elected to serve the people. Now, when we see a group of children all whispering together, we naturally think they're up to something. They're up to some mischief. Now, when adults gather together and whisper, and it takes different forms, such as possibly a closed session, it is the natural presumption of the public, the electorate, who put them in place in the first place, to say, what are they up to? It must be something devious. Now, honest to goodness, with the greatest of innocence, I don't understand why it appears that we cannot get an answer as to a simple question: what is going on with the fleet maintenance building? I don't understand it. I don't have the answer. I hope you will allow us to know what in the world is going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Question. Sorry, Mr. Manning, would you like to interrupt us just to address your point?
Certainly.
Mr. President, usually we go through public comment.
Okay, I could do that. I just was going to answer.
If you want, you are the president. It's your call as to how to proceed.
Either way, I thought when the question was raised that we would allow Mr. Manning to address it.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Mr. Manning, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Manning.
Go and answer.
Yeah.
Well, certainly. First of all, it's we have to have the question asked before we can answer it. Secondly, Andrea has been, and I have been meeting at least monthly with Mr. Dupage, et cetera, et cetera. And as most of the board knows, we had many ideas that came to the public that we tried to incorporate in a contract to look at. When we did that, the cost, I presume, was very high. Andrea, do you remember what that was? It was in the realm of $300,000, I think, yes. So Andrea has taken on the responsibility of looking at the opportunities and the possibilities in her shop. Now that, of course, has been complicated by our summer building season, which has slowed our progress down, and all of the projects that we have on the board, which she is diligently looking at, as well as a number of unexpected administrative situations that we've had to deal with. On the average year, we get about 35 FOIAs in the agency. This year, we've had over 200 FOIAs at a pretty significant expense to the agency. And of course, Andrea has spent time delving into those, as have our other directors. So yes, we are still looking at it. And quite frankly, it's going to take some time before we have a resolute answer as to which direction we're going, because we're not going to spend money externally to try to get that answer. We're going to do it in-house.
Okay, fine. Okay, no other questions. Okay, Mr. Clark, Dennis Clark.
Thank you. Dennis Clark, 1 South 610 Burren Drive in Wingfield, Illinois. Just wanted to thank you for having me on start here and present that. Thank you, commissioners, for your excellent questions. It seems like the issue is rushing ahead pretty fast, and it doesn't look like everybody had an opportunity to look at what's already been drafted. It sounds like certain members of the group, including attorneys, have already done that, so it's good that you're looking out for the citizens of the page. I'm here specifically to talk about the fleet maintenance building that was already addressed by Mr. Manning. 13 months ago, this board announced that they would look into an alternate site for the proposed fleet maintenance building that was going to be built in Blackwell. The decision announcement was preceded by about 5 months of the public doing some investigation, making presentations there. You probably all remember that week after week after week. Over 1,700 letters were submitted by concerned citizens about building such an industrial complex in a forest preserve property. Alternate sites and offers to be part of a panel that assisted the board site locations and suggestions, and some of them included criteria, some of them included different things about locations, were all dismissed and were all going to be handled by the board. We thought maybe something like the some of the facilities that you build, like St. James, the master plans, you invite the public in to participate with those kinds of things. One of the reasons it was cited by the board was there were safety concerns at the site, which is why you needed to build this facility. This was reinforced when I and Shannon Burns had the tour of both facilities and get a first-hand look at that. So I would say that you'd probably not be surprised that the public is now concerned, as you've heard already. It's nice that you're looking into this, but I think they need a status report of what's been done, what sites have been looked at and not approved, maybe a list of the criteria that's being used to develop for such a project, items that have been addressed at the safety issue that you raised as to why this facility needs to be done. I think those are some of the decisions that you have made that the public really needs to know about. Appreciate it. Thank you much.
Okay, Shannon Burns.
Hi, I'm Shannon Burns. I live in West Chicago, and I'm also here to talk about the fleet maintenance building. As you know, 13 months ago, you told us that you would be looking into alternative sites. And I'm not here today to research or to rehash all the concerns that you've already heard. You all know what they are. I'm here today to just ask that since you agreed to halt the plans to look at alternative sites, that you communicate with us, not just with our Westwick Homeowners Association, but with the entire community. On behalf of everyone, I'm requesting that you make a formal statement about the status of the fleet maintenance building. It's obvious to all of us that the fleet maintenance services need to be updated and that new facilities are needed, and we agree with you on this point. Last year, we urged you to address the concerns that we had raised about due diligence, and we also urged you to accept our community's offer of assistance in planning or having input in developing criteria for the maintenance building. And I'm urging you again to do this. Taking the time to address our concerns now will result in a win-win situation that will last into the future as a benefit to the staff, the community, and most importantly to the open land that we all are here to protect. Last year, one of our complaints was that this had been on the books for 20 years and there was no knowledge of it public to the community. I also know that Lake County did a great job of involving the community in their plans, and the fleet building that Lake County had very little community opposition. Now is the time to involve us. Get us involved in helping and at least put out some information about what the plans are. So I'm challenging you today to take a positive, constructive approach by making a commitment to get some public information out there. And finally, an update from this board on the fleet maintenance issue is especially important right now. Citizens have a right to know about issues that might affect their vote before the election occurs. So here's our request. We'd like some public information about the status. Thank you.
Thank you. Hillary Dink.
Hello, my name is Hillary Dank. I'm at 433 Wilson Street, Downers Grove, Illinois. I'm a Dupage native, and I have used Blackwell Forest for years. I love the facility. But when I talk to people in my community, they are surprised to learn that there was $8 million allocated for construction of this fleet maintenance facility. It's hard to imagine that this board would allocate monies without first conducting an environmental impact or a traffic study for such a project. The fact that this board was unaware that the health department conducted a percolation test that failed and that the staff had already been in contact with the city of Warrenville to obtain water and sewer is not reassuring to the taxpayers. This project is likely to overrun up to $2 million if it actually goes forward to obtain water and sewer to the site. The public requested an alternative sites to be looked at and be reported to. The board promised to review this issue, and the public has not received a response. The time has come for some sort of response that Shannon and Dennis have requested. I appreciate the time to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Berman.
Good morning, my name is Eric Bergman. I am a resident in Glen Ellyn. I've lived there for 19 years. I came this morning to speak to you about the need for this board to increase its public accountability and its openness. I have 3 examples for you. The first is the one we've been hearing about, the maintenance facility. I think that it's clear from the people who've spoken before me that there is a need in the community for more communication from this board about what you're thinking and what you're doing. And Mr. Manning's comments demonstrate that things have been happening. From the public standpoint, it's very difficult to tell that that's actually happening. I think the Navistar issue is another tremendous example. When this board, the county board, the village of Lisle engaged in a secretive, kind of quiet negotiation and sprung things on the public, it resulted in upset, outrage, a lot of embarrassment for a lot of people, litigation, and it slowed the process by about a year. I think we can look at today's example when the community comes together and it's open and it's public, good solutions can be found, very significant progress can be made to bring a good project to our county. Unfortunately, I think it was slowed by a year. The third example I have for you is the Willowbrook Center. There's a very significant improvement. I think it's a great improvement. I find that as I talk to my neighbors, I'm one of the few people that actually knows about it, much less the fact that there's a public comment period that's about to expire. I think that you would find tremendous support, and you'd find the Forest Reserve would have a benefit to its reputation by being more open and more public and getting more information out to the community about a project like this. Frankly, the website is convoluted and difficult to navigate. I've been looking at the Forest Reserve for more than a year now, and I still have a very difficult time. When I go to navigate your website, it's difficult to find out what you're doing, what you're up to. I really encourage you to make a much more significant effort to have clear public announcements, clear public hearings, and much more time for the public to be involved and know what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment portion of the meeting. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time to express their opinions. And with that, we'll move to the regular agenda.